It's 2:30 a.m. The world outside is silent, but you're wide awake. You signed up for the night shift again. The extra money sounded good, but here you are, alone with your thoughts, staring at the same life you've been living for years. I know the feeling. I worked night shift for 2.5 years, thinking the same thing. You did everything by the book. You played it safe, you followed the rules, but now a question gnaws at you. Is this it? Is this my life? You see, you took the safe route. You went to school, you got the degree, you found a job. Now you're living on autopilot, working for the weekends, numbing the boredom with distractions. The security you sought is now a prison. You've been told this is what success looks like, but deep down, you know this isn't living. There's a reason you're watching this. You know you're made for more, but there's one thing that's holding you back. It's the same thing that holds us all back. Fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of risk. Let's talk about risk. We've been conditioned to believe that risk is dangerous, that it's the enemy of success. But the truth, the biggest risk you can take in life is not taking any risk at all. Most people live their lives avoiding risk, thinking they're playing it safe. They stick to the script. Go to school, get a job, follow the rules, collect the paycheck. And while they're safe, they're also stuck. They're stuck in jobs they hate, in lives that feel small, suffocated by the comfort they've been told to value. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, talks about the compounding effect of our choices. The small, seemingly insignificant risks we take every day compound over time. The same applies to staying in your comfort zone. If you keep making the safe choice, the comfortable choice, your world shrinks. It gets smaller and smaller until you're trapped in a life of mediocrity. But why is risk so terrifying? Because it threatens the illusion of security. Risk exposes the possibility of failure, and failure bruises the ego. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of looking like a failure. Think about it. How many times have you avoided taking a chance because you were scared of what others would think? We let the opinions of people who don't even matter dictate our lives. We're afraid to stand out, to fall short, to be seen as less than. But here's the reality. Nobody is watching. Everyone is too caught up in their own lives, their own worries, to even care about whether you fail or succeed. You don't owe anyone anything. The only person you're accountable to is yourself. Think about the people you admire. The ones living life on their own terms. Every single one of them had to take a risk. Steve Jobs once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." These are the people who embraced risk, who stepped outside the safety net that society laid out for them. It is no coincidence that the ones who change the world are the ones who don't play it safe. They have one thing in common. They understand that failure is part of the process. Failure isn't something to be avoided. It's something to be expected. And on the other side of failure, growth. In The Obstacle is the way Ryan Holiday explains that every obstacle is an opportunity. Every failure, every risk that didn't pan out is a lesson. Every time you fall short, you're refining yourself, getting closer to who you're meant to be. And that's the thing. You can't fail if you refuse to quit. So, what's the alternative? You stay in your comfort zone, you avoid risk, you live the same day over and over, and sure, you'll be safe. But safe doesn't mean alive. Safe doesn't mean fulfilled. Do you want to wake up in 10 years and realize that you've been living someone else's version of success? That you've played by the rules, and in doing so, you've played it small? I'm telling you right now, that is the real risk. Tim Ferriss in the 4-Hour Workweek talks about the fear setting exercise. He asks you to write down the worst case scenario of taking the risk. Really dig deep. What's the worst thing that could happen if you took that leap? Now, look at it. Is it as bad as you thought? Most of the time, the risk is smaller than the regret of not trying. What stands between you and the life you want? The work, sure, but more importantly, the courage to take the risk. Every dream, every goal worth having comes with an element of risk. But here's the thing, and by now you should know it, the risk is worth it. The job you hate, the life that feels too small, those aren't your prison walls. It's your comfort zone. And the longer you stay in there, the harder it's going to be to break free. But the second you decide to step out, to take the risk, that's when you truly start to live. You've got two choices. Continue living the life that's dictated by fear, or take the risk and bet on yourself. You can either stay comfortable and stuck, or embrace the unknown and see just how far you can go. Take the risk, bet on yourself. Sure, you might fail, but failure is temporary. Regret, that lasts a lifetime.